Big Ripple update, people. The headline reads, XRP lawsuit, Ripple and SEC may finally settle Hinman show tomorrow. This was published less than 24 hours ago. Scheduled for Tuesday, June 7th, 2022 at 3 p.m., at which point XRP holders, Ripple proponents, crypto enthusiasts, and members of the general public, both in the United States and across the globe who wish to partake, were allowed to listen to the proceedings through the open lines. But before we get into that, let's take a look at this. Ripple applauds Hester Peirce for blaming SEC over lack of fair notice. Peirce said the SEC refused to provide regulatory guidance about how our rules apply to crypto assets, so the responsibility for lack of regulatory clarity lies at their doorstep. And this tweet from attorney John Deaton highlights why he filed the amici request and why he thinks every XRP holder is to be held responsible for this and not wallow in self-pity. So what is this explosive XRP passive income strategy being revealed? Well, according to this tweet from Tank MC Hank, it says, 2016 Michigan Law Review, this is all for show, shakeout strategy continues, buyout comes after still holding, buy-in comes at the end. Also, the Bank of International Settlements, or BIS, proposes a new solution to cross-border crypto payments regulatory framework on the premise of redesigning the entire regulatory system to focus on distributed ledger technology, the system upon which these transactions are carried out, rather than on the individual companies like banks and wire transfer services such as MoneyGram and Western Union. This document, termed the BIS Working Papers, Distributed Ledger Technology-Based Enhancement of Cross-Border Payment Efficiency, a Legal and Regulatory Perspective, highlights the importance of employing a DLT arrangement for transferring funds as it best describes a DLT application for a network of central banks. And if we remember from back in the day, the BIS had given Ripple some accolades for creating a central bank digital currency-based sidechain on its network, the XRP Ledger. It read, BIS praises CBDCs against Bitcoin as Ripple's XRP enters the race. Scrolling down below, Ripple has announced a private version of its XRP Ledger and seems to have conquered the interest of France and possibly Brazil. The firm, however, might be sidelined for its ongoing legal battle against the SEC. So, what is this explosive passive income strategy for XRP that will be revealed? Well, stick around until the end of the video to find out more. For now, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, like, and hit that notification bell. So, the United States Magistrate in the Southern District of New York, in charge of the expert discovery in the Ripple vs. SEC lawsuit, Judge Sarah Netburn, ordered a conference scheduled on Tuesday, June 7th, 2022, which, when this video uploads, should be yesterday. Members of the public, crypto and XRP enthusiasts from across the globe and in the US were allowed to listen to the proceedings. However, it was prohibited to record or rebroadcast the conference on platforms like YouTube and Twitch and any other audio-only stream platforms. So, unfortunately, we can't play any of it here, but I'll try to keep you as updated as possible. Now, guys, we should consider this a consolation to XRP holders, given the presiding magistrate, Judge Analisa Torres' approval of the SEC's motion to extend the timeline to file an objection to the amici request by John Deaton and over 67,000 XRP holders to participate in a briefing regarding the expert challenge. This is huge, people. Irrespective of the fact that they cannot yet participate actively, the entire crypto community and the general public in the US and worldwide get to listen firsthand to understand how the SEC defends the interest of these XRP holders, which the Commission has a sworn oath to protect at all costs. So back to this Michigan Law Review from 2016. Is this all for show, just like this Twitter user believes? Would the shakeout strategy continue for the time being, only to introduce an XRP buyout spree right after? What would be the fate of those still holding XRP as the buy-in comes at the end? Well, let's find out. So according to this document by the Michigan Law Review in 2016, which uses Ripple as a case study, keep in mind that this time frame corresponds to roughly 4 years after the launch of Ripple and XRP into the market. This particular Michigan Law Review, which is the flagship law journal of the University of Michigan Law School, is titled Understanding and Regulating 21st Century Payment Systems, the Ripple Case Study, and talks about key topics which include non-cash payments, Ripple powering the movement of money through distributed settlement, and principles-based approach to regulating Ripple. And under the third heading, the second principle, we have this: stakeholder buy-in, international forums of regulators, and a Ripple SRO. Scrolling down in the first paragraph, we have this: Ripple's decentralized development structure and international presence mean that its effective governance will depend on regulators changing their regulatory paradigm. And on to the next one. To effectively respond to this need, an international forum of regulators, chaired by the Federal Reserve, and a self-regulatory organization representing Ripple users should govern Ripple. Now, looking to the third principle, titled Managing Financial Risks, that reads, in addition to the buy-in from users, international regulators should implement substantive regulations on DIPPs to mitigate potential risks they may pose. Credit and liquidity risks are among the most important areas of risk in payment systems, and the key way to control them is through a system's rules and procedures. And on the second sentence of the third paragraph, if we highlight where it says, settlement is both atomic and immediate, because the Ripple system trades on real assets, not credit, and it facilitates the trades in real time. Because Ripple payments involve the transfer of claims on the gateways in the form of Ripple balances, no market participant aside from users has to hold a balance in any institution. In the fifth paragraph, we find it says, if there is not enough liquidity of the currency on the buy side, the payment doesn't occur at all. However, a lack of liquidity in the underlying assets, for example a particular currency, could prevent the processing of transactions. Ripple mitigates this risk because XRP can bridge otherwise illiquid currency pairs. If every currency is liquid with respect to XRP, every currency becomes liquid to every other currency. The use of Ripple balances instead of central bank money presents another unusual liquidity risk. Recall that Ripple balances reflect the claims on gateways rather than a central bank. These claims obviously create more credit risk than a settlement asset in the form of central bank money, which is freely redeemable and always liquid. So, reading through all of the red underlines, it would seem like the Federal Reserve is working with Ripple Labs to ensure all-round gateway liquidity. It says down here, liquidity risk is the risk that a party will not have sufficient funds to meet its financial obligations to another party, as and when expected, even if it may have the funds to make that obligation later. Liquidity risks are a particularly significant concern for regulators because they have the potential to pose systemic risks, especially if an asset becomes illiquid when markets close, or if it creates questions about an entity's solvency. So this liquidity risk, essentially, can be likened to what happened to Terra Labs. Therefore, you can't take out the forward-thinking process that's been employed by the founders of XRP and its parent firm Ripple long before crypto adoption grew into what it is now, given that this review was conducted about 6 years ago. But this particular idea from that document, one caught my attention, as this group of lawheads describes Ripple as a better solution to gateways provisioned by central banks that may not be able to honor their obligations to repay customers the amount in their deposit balance. Since Ripple balances reflect the claims on gateways rather than the central banks, even if the gateway becomes insolvent, the trust lines, however, help users manage the credit risk between them and their gateway. In the next paragraph after that, this document offers a solution to the Federal Reserves with regards to how to manage that. It reads, it might be useful, however, for the Federal Reserve to impose procedures with respect to cross-border liquidity risks. For instance, it might request data from Ripple users to note when and how often a payment fails because of a lack of liquidity. Doing so could help Ripple users and the Federal Reserve determine which gateways do not hold enough cash to cover the cross-border payment needs of its depositors and XRP's viability as a liquidity provider. But this sort of socially beneficial behavior from Ripple users may not otherwise be available without their buy-in. So, with all of this, do you still think the SEC is right in this lawsuit? Well, if you're a crypto or XRP enthusiast who wishes to lend their voice, don't forget to fill out the class member sign-up form. The link to that will be provided in the description section below. But that's all I got for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and as always, we'll see you in the next video.